What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy JB coming to you today with the review for Black Ink Crew Chicago Season 4, Episode 3, titled Tom, Dick, and Cobra. So without further ado, let's get the video started. Alright, so this episode is pretty much started out with Junior. He's at his new tattoo shop that he's working at. And basically, he's talking to one of the tattoo artists, and the tattoo artist is telling him about a crazy tattoo that a woman wanted. So while they're sitting there talking about that, in walks Ryan. And, Junior's whole thing is, he left 9 Mag because of the whole toxic people, the toxic environment that it was. And it's not somewhere that he wanted to be at. So he found somewhere else to go to. And like I said, Ryan comes in, they start talking. And, Junior's whole thing is basically, Ryan is 9 Mag. He started 9 Mag. And basically, Junior feels like what I felt last week is that Ryan should not have, sat there and closed up 9 Mag. I think that Ryan could have went a completely different route with this. He could have, instead of closing 9 Mag and vandalizing and all that kind of shit, he could have easily just, like I said last week, fired all those people in that shop and completely hired some new people, which is pretty much what he's doing. But I'll get into that a little bit later in the video. But, that was it for Ryan and Junior. And I also forgot to mention that Junior was telling him that, he went to that fuck Ryan Henry party that, Van and Charmaine was having last week's episode. And he told him about that, but Ryan was letting us know that, he was sitting outside, which we all knew that. Like, first of all, I was trying to figure out why Ryan even went there. Like I said last week, if Charmaine had sent me that flyer that she sent Ryan, I would have been like, you know what, fuck this situation. I'm not going to no fuck Ryan Henry party. Like, you look like a complete fucking idiot, Ryan, to go to a party that says fuck Ryan Henry. Why would you do that? Like, you can clearly see that they are not here for you. And I really want to know what Ryan would have done if he had went inside of that party and saw what all was going on. Probably would have flipped his lid and all that kind of shit. But that's stupid to me, But it is what it is. All right, so next we get Don and Ashley. So Don is at the crib. He's smoking from a hookah, and pretty much Don has this just fuck it face written all over him. And Ashley comes in, and she sits down. She starts talking to Don, and she's telling Don how she doesn't want to be in Chicago anymore. She wants to go to Texas, where her brother is, where she feels loved, supported, and all that kind of stuff. And she's just telling him that she wants to go to Texas, and he's talking about, she's not going to Texas and all that kind of shit. And, he's basically trying to paint the girl Tasha off as a complete liar. But Don, you just as big as a liar as that girl could be. So I don't believe you, nor do I believe that what the girl is saying. Like, it's probably a gray line in between what both of you are saying. So, Don talking about he may have hurt Ashley. I'm like, nigga, you ain't may have hurt her. You did hurt that girl. Like, this ain't the first time that you've cheated on her. I mean, you've cheated on her plenty of times in the past, so it ain't no you may have hurt this girl. You completely hurt her. Like, and then to top it off, she was pregnant with your baby when you was sleeping with this girl. So really, Don, like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. And then, he's sitting there trying to talk about, how he has 2 black boys that he's trying to raise and all this kind of stuff. And when Don said that, I'm like, really, bro, come on. You want to think about your boys who's out there smashing that girl, so miss me with that one, because you can't sit here and be like, oh, I got 2 young boys that I got to try to raise and all this kind of stuff, and I can't do this with them in Texas. But you weren't thinking about them 2 young boys when you was having sex with the girl, so whatever. I'm completely done with that situation with Don and Ashley. And I actually tweeted this on Twitter during the show that Don and Ashley resemble Kirk and Rashida of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Like, they are the Kirk and Rashida of Black Ink Crew Chicago. But and then Ashley storms out and stuff, talking about she's taking the boys to Texas. I feel like Ashley needs to do what's best for Ashley. But what's really best for Ashley is that she should have, instead of staying in that hotel that she's staying in, she should have told Don motherfucking ass to get into the hotel and she stay there. And Don talking about he'll do whatever he has to do to get his family back. Talking about if he has to buy another house, he'll do that. If he got to pray, he'll do that. I'm like, really, nigga, pray? If you got to pray, you should have been praying before anything. Like, what's praying gonna do now? Praying ain't gonna change you from being a dog ass nigga. Like, get out of here with that. All right, then you get the scene where the whole crew is at 9 Mag. They're packing up all the kind of stuff, and they talking about the times that they've had there 9 Mag, and Van is talking about he never expected this to happen. You know, he's thinking back to when they opened this tattoo shop up 5 years ago. And my whole thing is, you know, it is fucked up that Ryan closed his shop. But, you know, y'all mistreated that nigga, so Ryan had a right to do, I'm not gonna say he had a right to do what he did. Ryan could have, like I said, like I'm gonna keep saying, Ryan had other options that he could have taken, but he took the wrong option, I think. Ryan could have easily fired them niggas and hired a new crew. And instead of him leaving Non-Mag, and you know, they all talking about how they in limbo and all that kind of stuff, which they don't know what to do. And I'm like, how many, I don't know how many tattoo shops are in Chicago, but I'm like, y'all can, Junior found another tattoo shop to go to, so y'all could easily find another one to go to, so do that. Charmaine, you had a corporate job that you left, like, y'all all can, I mean, it's it's probably other shit that y'all can do to fill your time, like, really, but whatever. I'll move on from that one. All right, and then we get Danielle and Terrence. They're doing their wedding registry. And, you know, Danielle's talking about how she's known Terrence since she was 15 years old and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, they're walking around. The guy gave her the little gun so she could walk around and scan what all the stuff she wants. And, you know, while she and Terrence are walking around looking at some stuff, in walks Charmaine. And then, you know, that's when her and Charmaine go off and they just do their thing and they start having, you know, all that kind of stuff. But what got me was when Terrence sat there and said that, you know, that they're out there doing this wedding registry and they ain't even set a date yet. I'm like, is that what you do? You go do your wedding registry before you actually set a date for your wedding? Like, with this show and with you two, with this nigga that been cheated on you, I wouldn't be doing no wedding registry. I would actually set the date first before I go do my wedding registry and make sure that we are actually in fact going to get married before I even go this far. Like, you never know what can happen, and we'll see what happens later on in this episode, and I'll get to that a little bit later about what happens with Terrence and Danielle. And then we get Van looking like Jigglypuff, talking about you know, his clothing line is taking off. And when I was looking at that whole scene, I'm like, nigga, that look like the shit that you go to Walmart and buy and just iron onto your shirt it's yourself. And you talking about a clothing line taking off. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm talking about, what was the name of that clothing line? Chicago Rilla. And I'm like, that shit looks like something a 5-year-old could put together. And you talking about it's taking off. I'm like, okay, Van, if you say so. If you like it, we love it. But I don't think anybody's really buying that shit like that. First of all, that shit was ugly as fuck. I'm gonna keep it real with you. It was ugly. It ain't something that I would personally buy myself. I don't know if anybody else would buy it, but you know, if Van saying it's taking off, if it's taking off, then we gonna go with that. And then, you know, we get Charmaine to come over there where Van is, and Van is telling Charmaine that he is about to have a fashion show for his line Chicago Rilla, and that he basically wants her to be the DJ for his event. And you know, while he's telling her that, this bitch sitting there farting, and then she go farts in the clothes. I'm like, really? I'm like, that's nasty and tacky as fuck. Like, you gonna sit here and fart in the man's clothes? Like, okay, Charmaine, if that's disgusting as fuck. But you know, like I said, if Van believes that this shit is gonna take off, let it take off, brother. But I don't see it happening. Period. Point blank. Okay, and then we get this scene with Four. Four is in the studio working on some music, and I'm like, oh, and when I heard the music, I'm like, hey, I'm feeling that shit. Like, the music that Four was doing was like mad good. Like, I was feeling that shit. Four is, you know, kind of feeling his feelings about the whole situation that happened with Nikki last week when the bitch threw the drink in his face and threw the cereal all over him. You know, after he told her about London on the track wanting to work with him and him having to go out to LA to finish the album. And, you know, so basically he said he has not been sleeping in the bed with her, that he's been sleeping on the couch for the last 4 days or so like that. And I'm like, that bitch is really that stupid to sit here and still be mad at you because you want to go and pursue your music career. Like, you dumbass. Like, what? Like, who the fuck gets mad over they man wanting to pursue his dream? Like, at least you don't have a bum ass nigga that's sitting on your couch every day not doing shit with his life. Like, what the fuck? This man is out here trying to make a living for himself and for your ass. But then, you know, he comes out to the booth, and then she comes in there, and, you know, she goes into the booth, and, you know, basically she's there because her dumb ass sat there and thought about how ignorant and stupid she looked throwing his clothes over the balcony, throwing a drink in his face, and throwing a cereal at him. She's basically realized she overreacted and all that shit. And I'm like, it took you 4 days to realize that you overreacted to something like that. Like I said, your man is trying to do something better for himself and for you. Like, again, you're lucky he's not a bum ass nigga that just ain't trying to do shit for himself. But, you know, she goes into the booth and she raps her apology. I'm like, that is a whack ass apology. That's a whack ass rap. But, you know, I guess it was good enough for her. But like I said, that girl is ignorant as fuck. Like, how are you gonna sit here and tell him that, number one, he's selfish because he's trying to pursue his career, his music career? If anybody was being selfish in that situation, Nikki, it was you that was being selfish. Like, you're a very beautiful girl, but you ain't got the common sense God gave a fucking mule. Like, for real. But, you know, she apologized and we can move on from that. Because, like I said, that was some stupid ass shit to be arguing over. Him wanting to go work on his music career. What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here with that. For real. Alright, then you get this scene where Ryan is, I don't know if he was at a hotel or if he was at his place, but some girl came over there because she wanted to get a tattoo covered up on her back. Ryan says, you know, he used to want to do a cover up because he didn't like, you know, covering up some another artist's work, and it's not like a blank canvas where he can, you know, do his own thing with it. But he does decide to do the cover up tattoo for the girl. And, you know, basically his whole thing is, you know, after that whole conversation that he had with Junior, it kind of lit a fire under him, you know, for him not to give up on his work and all that kind of stuff. So I'm happy that he had that conversation with Junior, because why would you let these people make you give up something that you are passionate about? Like, don't let what they did affect you to the point that you give up, you know, what you're good at, what you worked hard for, and all that kind of stuff. You know, don't do that. Like, for real, I don't think you should do that. I feel like, again, I'm gonna say it one more time, I feel like Ryan should have fired their asses and got a whole new 9 mag. Like, that would have been just simple and easy to do. But, you know, I guess it took for him to talk to his mama and for him to talk to Junior to light a big fire under his ass to just get back to doing what he was doing. So, like I said, he was doing his cover-up tattoo for the girl. First of all, I don't know how that bitch sat there for that cover-up tattoo, because every time the camera kept panning back on her, I'm like, girl, your face, you know, it never had any kind of pain or anguish in it. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, first of all, where that tattoo is, I'm like, I know that it's touching your spine. Like, that shit has got to fucking hurt. Like, you can't pay me to believe that shit don't hurt. But, you know, once Ryan finishes that tattoo, that was a badass fucking tattoo, man. Like, I love that shit. Like, but I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get flowers on me anyway, but I wouldn't get a tattoo on my back anyway. Like, not something that I would ever do. That just looked like it would be too much fucking pain for me, but it was a badass tattoo. And, you know, I'm glad that Ryan has come to his senses and decided that he is not giving up his love of tattooing. So, thank you to Junior for that one. Alright, so then you get this scene with Four and Nikki. They are at home, they in bed. Basically, they have made up with each other, and they gonna move forward with each other. You know, Four is talking about, you know, basically talking about having makeup sex with Ashley. But while he and Ashley are sitting there, and ew, he had her feet in his mouth. Ugh. That's the one thing I don't do, is feet. Like, don't put your feet anywhere near the face area. Don't do it. Like, keep that shit away from me. Period. But while they're sitting there in bed with the dogs and all that stuff, excuse me. Excuse me. So while they're sitting there in bed, Don FaceTimes Four and basically tells Four that he's downstairs. So, you know, Four tells him to come up and all that kind of stuff. So they sit down and start talking with each other. And basically, you know, Don is telling him everything that's going on with him and Ashley. How Ashley wants to take the boys and go to Texas and all that stuff. And then how Tasha is talking about she's pregnant and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, basically, again, he's just trying to paint it out that this girl's fucking lying and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, she's making up all kind of stuff, trying to break up his family. But, again, he's talking about he gonna do, excuse me, whatever it takes just to get his family back. But I'm like, you can't get your family back when you fucked over your wife multiple times. Like, at what point, and this is for Ash. Like, what point do you say enough is enough? Like, this nigga has he already has one baby with another bitch that he cheated on you with, and then he possibly has a baby with another bitch that he's cheated on you with, like Ashley. What's gonna be enough for you to leave this nigga for real? Like, come on, like, use your brain. Use your brain. I don't know. I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, does Don have some good tongue, dick, what? Like, cause he is snowing the hell out of Ashley, but I hope Ashley is smart enough to make the decision for herself to finally leave that bump, that no good ass fuck boy, like, for real. All right, so then we get Lily. She is at Cobra's apartment. Basically, she's telling us that Cobra is in Texas, you know, taking care of her family, and that she's not really gonna come back to Chicago until, you know, she knows what's going on with the shop and all that stuff. But at this point, nobody knows what's going on with the shop, so she might be there indefinitely. So there's a knock at the door, and she goes to the door, and it's a stripper bitch, Velvet. And, you know, Velvet's talking about she came over there to see Cobra and all that stuff. And I'm like, why are you coming to see her when you basically dogged that bitch on TV? Like, if I was Cobra, I would say, fuck you. I ain't got nothing to say to you. I don't want to see you or no shit like that. But, you know, she's sitting there asking Lily basically, you know, well, she asked Lily what she was drinking, and Lily told her she was drinking, what was it, vodka and Sprite or something like that, or gin and Sprite or some shit like that. And then she asked Lily, can she have some? And Lily lets the bitch in, and I'm like, really? You gonna let this messy ass bitch into the place? Like, you know she's messy, but you gonna invite this hoe in there? But okay, I don't get that. So once she invites her in, you know, she starts talking to Lily and asking her about everybody in the shop, and she starts going down the line about Danielle, Van, and then she mentions Danielle, how she's engaged to Terrence and all that kind of stuff. And when she says that she's engaged to Terrence, that's when Velvet, you know, stops her right there and tells her, oh, well, you know, Terrence didn't tell me that he was engaged. You know, he's been blowing on my phone trying to get with me and all that kind of stuff since Cobra and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, Lily is, you know, like, oh no, this bitch has been starting some mess already. And then, you know, she's telling her that she and Terrence had an oral communication when they were in Cabo, and I'm like, oh, why? Like, really, girl? Like, and I mean, I'm glad, but you know, talking about she had text messages proof and all that kind of stuff. So she showed Lily the text messages, and Lily read the messages and all that kind of stuff. And you know, Lily was trying to tell her, you know, it's cool to tell Danielle about this stuff, but you got to pick the right time and the right place to tell Danielle. Don't just spring up on Danielle and tell Danielle about the whole situation with Terrence and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, she feels like Velvet felt like Terrence should have told her something instead of trying to leading her on and, you know, hitting her up, trying to meet with her and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, girl, you are a hoe. All he's trying to do is just trying to stick his dick in you. So I don't understand what he needs to tell you. Like, as long as you keep your mouth closed and be the side piece, y'all good. And then, you know, she also did tell Lily that her Instagram got deleted because of, what did she say? She had an anal plug up her butt and she was going up the stairs and somebody reported it. I'm like, I was sitting there like, really? Who the fuck gets on Instagram and put a anal plug up their ass? Like, what the fuck? Like, I was baffled by that. Like, what the fuck? That was you a nasty asshole, trifling ass bitch to be doing some shit like that. Ugh. Yo, am I the only person that think Lily talks like she's slow as fuck? Like, I know it can't be me. When she in her interview, number one, it sounds like she's slow as fuck. And then number two, it sounds like she's reading from a script. Like, it's something, like, does Lily elevator not go to the top floor? Somebody answer me that question. Is the bitch retarded? I didn't mean to say, not retarded. Is the bitch mentally challenged? Something like that? Because she sounds very stupid and slow to me. All right, and then we get Ryan and Rachel. So Ryan has Rachel in the car. They're driving around. She's blind. He has her blindfolded because he has a surprise for her. So, you know, like I said, he's in the car and they're driving. So once they get to the location that they're going to, he tells Rachel to hold on. You know, he'll come and get her out the car. So he gets her out the car, and I pretty much figured, you know, what Ryan was doing when he took where he was taking Rachel. This bitch talking about, have you bought me a house? I'm like, yeah, I don't think he's bought your house, Ben. There's not a house that he's bought you. But once he gets her there, he takes the blindfold off of her, and she said, "I hope you don't expect me to live here." I'm like, how fucking stupid are you to really believe that he bought this place to live there? That is the new 9 Meg, and basically that is what it is. So it's the new 9 Meg. He takes her inside, shows her around, and he's telling her how with this one he wants to learn from his past mistakes. He wants to get a new receptionist. He wants to get at least 6 new tattoo artists and all that stuff. And basically just rebuild 9 Mag from the ground up. And I was looking at Rachel the whole time, like I'm like I cannot stand this bitch, because first of all, when he took the blindfold off of her and took her inside, he told her that this is the new 9 Mag, her face was just like, really, you brought me here for this? Like, I could have stayed at home. And I'm like, damn, bitch, can you at least fake happy for your man? Like, this is his dream. Like, he is a tattoo artist. This is what he does. Like, he left his last shop. He left his people. And you can't even pretend like you fucking happy for this man. And then you talking about, well, I guess, if I guess I don't have any other choice. And I'm like, girl, be happy. Like, just say, yeah, babe. Oh, I support you, babe. I'm happy for you, babe. Do this, do that. But instead, you sitting here sulking and all this kind of shit. Like, I'm like, I do not like this bitch at all. Like, be happy for the man, please. All right, and then lastly, we got Van's fashion show. So, Van's talking about how he has his daughter that's going off to college, and he has his car note. And I'm like, sorry to tell you, Ben, but this shit ain't gonna make you that much money to pay for the college and the car note. Like, it might give you enough money to pay for your car note, but putting your daughter through college, it ain't gonna pay that, brother. Get back to tattooing ASAP, because that clothing line ain't gonna do it. Because I can't see that many people buying them ugly ass fucking clothes. Like, really, I don't see it. But if you say so, then we gonna run with that. So everybody is there at the fashion show, and then out of nowhere, the messy bitch, the messy stripper bitch Velvet shows up, and she's talking to she sees Terrence, and everybody notices Danielle ring. Lily says, congratulate her on engagement and all that stuff. And then when the messy stripper bitch Velvet comes in there, she's talking about, she sees Danielle's ring, and she was like, oh, Terrence, well, you could have texted me and told me that you were engaged, and I would have congratulated you. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, really? First of all, what the fuck you doing there? Secondly, Lily specifically told your dumb ass to not do it in a, when you came at Danielle, come at her in a better way than you did. And here you come on some messy shit at Van's event to tell her that, basically tell her that you messed with her man and that you got text message proof. But I was 100% here for Danielle, because Danielle didn't flip out or go off on her like I would have expected her to, or like I would have done. Like, bitch, you come in here and you trying to start some shit for what? Like what the fuck? Like, that was stupid as fuck. You came there for you weren't invited, and then you come there on some messy shit. Like, I don't get that, but whatever. And then once the fashion show is over, you notice that Tasha is there, and I'm like, oh my God, from one messy bitch to another messy bitch. Like, what the fuck? But Don notices her, and Don is like, he's not gonna entertain her in front of all those people. So he takes her upstairs and he starts talking to her. And again, Don is just trying to play her off like she's fucking lying and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, what, she could be lying, but there might be some truth to what she's saying. So basically, Don is saying that her timeline is completely off. He's saying that Tasha is saying that they have been messing around with each other for a year. And basically he's saying, he only met Tasha back in July when he did a piercing for her. And, she didn't say yay or nay. So I don't know what to believe with that one. And then he did mention that text message that she sent to Ashley about him paying for her abortion. And I don't know if he was saying that she lied about that and she was agreeing to that. I was really confused about that whole situation. But, but homegirl's clearly pregnant, because you can look at her stomach and tell that she's pregnant. And then, basically he's just going off on her, telling her that everybody know her as a liar and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, but nigga, you a liar too, so birds of a feather flock together, you know, whatever. So like I said, they going back. Well, he's just basically going off on her, and then some bitch in the behind him said something to her. I don't remember. I don't really know what the bitch said to her, but all I do know is the bitch threw the drink at her, and that was how the episode ended. And I thought that was tacky as fuck. But that was Black Ink Crew Chicago. Leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later.